Welcome to Off Watch. Today's guest is a true legend of the sport with a rich history to delve into. But at 52 years of age, he's also got a bright future ahead of him. He's still competing, he's still winning, and he's also launching a new campaign for the ocean race 13 years after lifting the trophy in the 2011-12 edition with Group Armour. In his 20s, he won the Solitaire de Figaro in 1997. Since then, he's been victorious in the Route du Rhum, the Transat Jacques Vabre, as well as claiming multiple speed records on monohulls and multi-hulls offshore. He's also flown the tricolor flag at the America's Cup, as well as campaigning for the Olympics. And it is my great pleasure to have Franck Cammas with me today. Hello, Franck.
Hello everybody.
So I want to kind of start with that, really. I mean, you've done everything, and you really are one of the true superstars of our sport. You're famous in France, but you're famous around the world. And is it an enjoyable thing to be as famous as you are?
Well, for sure, it's a nice thing for me, but I don't think about that every day when I wake up. So the important point, I can use this image and the door very open in France to speak about my project, to have a good relationship with the journalist and at the end with the partners. So it's helping for me to use it, but at the end, the good thing is my experience behind that. What I did during 25 years, and I have a good network with the people I work before, with the team, with the designers, etc. And this, I think, is the strong point when I want to launch something. I know well which people I have to call.
I'm sure.
It's a good point, but at the end, don't change anything, and I have to work a lot, and I have to push every time, even if I win something in the past. The day after the win, I have to work for the next, and I have to work a lot, and it's what I love actually.
But I completely understand that, of course, you're famous for a very good reason, because you work hard and you're successful. But when you say you don't think about it, in Lorient, in Le Bas, there is your face, gigantic, on the wall of one of the buildings there. I mean, what's it like walking past an enormous you and your eyes following you around the harbour?
I don't want to see my picture when I go to the base. I am very proud because I am close to Eric Tabarly, a picture with the same size. So I'm not at all the same legend than Eric Tabarly. Eric Tabarly is very famous, and many sailors in France come from the history of Eric Tabarly. So this is my pride. But otherwise, it's not my goal in my life. Anyway, I prefer to go sailing and to win the race with different boats, and sometimes to lose the race also. But I'm very happy to be on the water anyway.
But how did that giant face come about? Because I have so many questions. Because was it made and then somebody went, "Hey, Franck, surprise," or did they ask your permission? I mean, what's the story behind it?
Behind
the gigantic Franck Cammas on the wall.
Yes, it was just after the ocean race in 2012. And they did a journey. How do you tell that? With all the Lorient people, and it's like a votation. So it was the good time for me, because just we won with Groupama the ocean race, and then they decide to have this figure on the wall. And for sure, in the base, I have a longest history with Lorient, because 30 years ago, the base was completely empty. Was just for the military base. And so we start with Alain Gauthier, especially, and we were just two people, two sailors in the base with no building, nothing, just with the containers, and we start the story of Lorient base actually. And now Lorient is a very big, famous and a big city around the ocean, the offshore races. And but at the beginning we were only two people, so it's why also I have a close relationship with this place actually.
What made you look at, I mean, because anybody that hasn't been to Le Bas, I mean, it's quite something. It's old, you know, World War II infrastructure. It's concrete. It's enormous. You could almost describe it as being quite cold and quite sort of soulless. But when the boats are there and the flags are flying and the sailors are going, there's a real sense of adventure, and it's an incredible place.
Yeah, this place is. Yeah, it's amazing to have so many people in the same place. And when you go to lunch or when you go to take a beer, and on the night you cross all the offshore race people in the world, not only the French, which is very nice because there are many English people coming now, or Italian people, and with Mini Transat, Figaro classes, Class 40, IMOCA and Ultime, we are all together with every team gets his own base, and so it's very easy to work there, and it's very easy when you find a place to work, or if you need a sailmaker, for example, or which skill you want for the offshore race, you find it 100 meters around you, which is very easy. And also, what is very important is to have your best competitors just beside you when you go on the pontoon, and you can watch, you can speak with the guy, you can go on the water, and between Lorient and Groix Island in front of Lorient, sometimes you have 5 or 10 boats with the same purpose of you. So it's very motivating for everybody.
And it's incredible for people like me and, you know, for fans of the race, because I'm trying to think of the equivalent harbour or marina in the UK, but most of our places, we have big gates. You cannot go on the pontoon unless you have a berth, unless you have a boat. Whereas in Le Bas, it's all open. Was that a decision to make it like that? Is it something that you really like, that you can be there with your boat and there's maybe 100 people around watching you? It's a unique experience if you're a fan.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think about that, because it's very natural for us to open the pontoon to the public, because the public are many fans, and during the summer there are every day there are many people on the pontoon, and we can speak with them. And I think it's why in France the offshore sailors are very close to the public, because we speak very easy with the people on the pontoon, even if we don't know them, but we can explain, and they are very happy to see the boat, to see the team and the sailor and the skippers. Very easy. It's not like a Formula One world, you know. We can share with everybody. We can share with the others. Young, for example, young skipper. They dream a lot when they watch our boat, and sometimes they want to visit the boat. So we invite them on the deck, and they are very happy. And it's why it's so exciting to go in Lorient for now. And sometimes we learn, and we have very good relationships with new people coming from the school, for engineer, for example, very young people go to Lorient just with the dream to go on the water, on the ocean, but just with the motivation, with a lot of skill and passion. And sometimes they try to work in the team, in the design office, and always it's a very good sharing experience with young new people, and we are very open door in Lorient. I think it's why also we are good, because it's always open-minded for everybody.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure it inspires the fans, the next generation, like you say, the school children. Oh, I want to get on the water. I mean, I have so many young friends who, when they decided they wanted to do offshore, they knew they needed to go to France, and they knew they needed to go to Lorient, and that's where they are now. For you, is it things such as that interaction which keeps you motivated? Because, why are you still doing this? It can't be the fame, because you can't get a bigger poster of your face than the one you already have. Is it little things like that in our sport that keep you hungry for more? What makes you come back?
Because I love to have new challenges, actually, and I have very many chances with especially with the Groupama campaign to change the class, and very often, and my goal is not to win very easily all the time when I go on the start line. And for example, 30 years ago, when we won many races with Orma 60 during the Grand Prix, etc. And at the end, if we finished second, we were very very bad. So was at the end a little bit boring for our team, and we need a new challenge. It's why we start with Groupama 3 and around the world record, and then we start with Volvo Ocean Race, which was very new for a French team, and we didn't get the culture, got the culture on this race and on this new competitive environment, and was a challenge I like. And was not the plan to win the first Volvo Ocean Race at the beginning. The plan was to do two Volvo Ocean Race and maybe win the second. But at the end, we finished to win the first one. So we had to change the plan, and we changed the plan without doing the race. We changed, and I very pushed to do other things, not offshore race, because I start to aim the America's Cup. So I start to do Olympic campaign with NACRA, and was very nice. I came back at the beginning of the scale, and I have to learn again, like on a sailing school sometimes, but was very exciting for me. So it's why I want today to do the Vendée Globe. I never did the Vendée Globe, and it's new, but not completely new. I think I have also a chance to win. It's why I'm motivated for that, and also for me, IMOCA, it's a very challenging class because the sailors, they are very famous, and there are many sailors at the top level now. And also the boats, it's still challenging to design the perfect boat for the ocean race or the Vendée Globe, because it's so hard to live on board already. It's not comfortable at all, and it's hard to do a perfect boat for the transatlantic and the perfect boat for the around the world in the same time. It's a so different condition, and the goal is just to have the more versatile boat without too many bad points, and it's never easy to find it. Maybe Charlie Dalin is find the best point today, but probably we don't know what is the truth, and you have to find it. So it's so challenging, the part of the design and the technique preparation of the race. For me, it's important. This part is it's exciting, the same than the race itself. The part of prepare, of design the boat, of develop the boat, etc. This part, I'm very passionate on that. So for now, I think IMOCA, especially because also the ocean race use the IMOCA, so we can use with the same boat. It's so challenging to be first to win all these different kind of races with the same boat. So I want to try to do that because it's hard. If it was easy, I don't like it. So it's because it's so hard. I'm very exciting for that.
You said something before about the culture when you did the race in Groupama 2011-12, when you won the ocean race. You said you didn't really understand the culture, and I've heard this from some of the sailors now from the IMOCA world who have come over and done the ocean race, and they've been surprised by certain things. What do you mean? What's the difference? What was it? What was the thing that made you go, oh, this is new? What was it about the culture of the race that surprised you?
The culture of which race? The ocean race?
Oui.
Or the the ocean race. I don't think the culture 15 years ago or now it changed a little bit because the boat is different. The crew come from a new country compared with 20 years ago. There are more French culture in the ocean race now. 15 years ago was a very Anglo-Saxon culture with a boat with rules more
restrictive,
restrictive rules. For example, every meter square has to be with a minimum weight. For example, this kind of rule, it's far away what we knew in France with very open classes like IMOCA or MA 60, and also because the crew is 11 people this time. Everybody on board is a very good specialist on his role. And in France, it's more because single-handed culture. With one people, you know everything on the boat. You don't know so well if you are a specialist, but you have a very good vision of how can we win the race with the routing, with the boat handling, with the technical development of the boat, etc. Because when you have your team for a single-handed race, you have to know everything on the boat at the end, but you don't have time to know so fine.
Yeah, fine details.
Fine details. So it's why it's also it's like the America's Cup. The America's Cup, it's many people with 100 people in the team, and every people it's so high level in his role, which is very interesting also for sure.
Yeah.
And with only one people, you cannot have all these skills so detailed. So. This is different, and sometimes on the ocean race with Anglo-Saxon, they don't care about what happened in the routing, for example, or what. So they are concentrate on the maneuver, for example. They are very good in the maneuver. They are bowman, but the bowman don't care about what happens in the on the computer, for example,
Yeah.
or
Which
and
I can understand.
in France we challenge the navigator, for example,
Right.
when we
Everybody
go.
gets around the table. Everybody is looking at
Yeah,
it. Right.
yeah, because they have a good voice
Yeah.
and good. It's very rich to speak with everybody because sometimes you have a new idea and you have to follow a new idea. Even if you are the skipper or navigator, you have to be open. So it's this is more in France. In France, is everybody want to know everything. So it's so sometimes too much,
Yeah.
and it's not easy to organize this kind of crew. But sometimes it's very efficient if you have a good respect, good trust with everybody on board. You can reach very high level like that also. So it's different, and we have to learn with a different culture. It's why I like also ocean, because you can have different culture on board, not only French culture. You can have girl now, young people, people coming from Olympics, etc. And even if they don't have all the skills you need to win the race, they are very good in their skill, and this is an important point for me.
It's the classic makeup of an IMOCA team for individual solo sailors, and maybe an American team, which is a team of people. Like you say, oh, I'm a specialist in this, I'm a specialist in this. And I always imagine the problem with having 4 offshore solo sailors is everybody wants to do nav, everybody wants to do the trim, everybody wants to do this. But I'm sure it's a benefit, and I'm sure it's a hazard. But you mentioned that so many different sailors are coming into the ocean race from the Olympics and from the America's Cup, from everything. You are a very rounded sailor in terms of what you've done with the offshore and with your Olympic campaigns as well. But that was cut short, and I wonder whether I can just ask you, because I remember at the time. So if nobody knows about this one, or if people have forgotten, this would have been, I think this was 2016, 2015. It was just before Rio. It was a GC32. You were out training in Quiberon. And I remember reading about this and thinking, he's really lucky he didn't lose his leg. Can you just tell us what happened?
We were training for the America's Cup with the America's Cup team. So with the GC32, and we fight match racing. On the other boat was Adamino Prio. He was in the team and was a very good partner to fight. And the GC32 is not when you end the boat. Sometimes you have nothing. It's not so easy to stay on board, actually.
Yeah, nothing to lock into.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have this time full strap, for example, and I fall on the back when I bear away in the entry on the match race, and my
sorry,
leg,
hang on. Sorry, pause. You were doing a full match race entry, as in a full come in at 4 minutes, dial down, something that we don't do anymore in the America's Cup. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we entry. I have to bear away for sure quickly, and with a wave or with the negative heel, I fall in the water on the back.
Yeah.
Outside the boat for sure. So it's not good to be outside the boat when you are a sailor, you know. and my leg for sure in front of me hit the rudder. And I was in the water and was not so hurt, but I have a feeling on my foot, something bad. And I was swimming, and I just put my leg out of the water to see what happened. Actually, there was not my foot anywhere. My foot was behind, one, you know. It was so hard to see that, but was not the pain was okay. But I was very lucky because For sure, the bone was outside, and it's not a good point. But all the nerves was okay.
Wow.
So my foot was behind my my leg.
Stop saying that.
I jump on the reel. I go, and after that, 2 months after, I go back sailing. So was very quick actually, and the doctors did a very good job.
Yeah.
This,
I mean, the boat would have been doing, I mean, more than 30 knots when it
no, was not so fast.
wasn't.
Was
No.
15,
Oh,
15 knots,
15.
something like that.
It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. But no, the shock was not so hard. It's just because the rudder, it's like a knife.
Does it make you, I mean, with the foils and everything, I think everybody in the sailing community, we've been waiting for something to happen with the foils specifically in terms of an injury. We've had boats, I mean, thinking back to Andrew Simpson in the America's Cup, we've had tragedy in the America's Cup, we've had boats capsize, we've had this, we've had high-speed boats getting to difficulty. But I always, you know, you're falling around, you're on a moth, you're on something, and you think, wow, there's a knife under the water and it's traveling really, really fast. Does this come into your mind at all? Or for you, is it just business as usual, used to the speed?
Yeah, it's a risk. We love to be so fast because the foils, and but we know as you say the foils are knife under the water. So if you fall and if you have another competitor coming to you, for sure in the most races, it could happen. So it's so risky for everybody, and there are not too many accidents for now, but finger crossed. But yeah, it's very risky. The speed is risky anyway, and the falls are very bad. So it's more important than before to stay on board. But anyway, when you sail, you have to stay on board, and otherwise it's not your world. We are not a fish, you know. So especially when you are in offshore and when you are sailing single, the only world of your life is on the deck on your boat, and your boat is your planet. So you have to stay on. It's a risk, but our sport, it's a risky sport. It's not like a soccer. When you finish the match in soccer, you know you go to the bed after. On the boat is not the case, and you don't know when you finish the race, and you don't know how you finish the race. But it's why it's exciting. It's like a climber go to the Everest. You don't know if you can finish or not.
What about those risks? Looking back over your career, obviously you were lucky to keep your leg and to get back going and to still be at the top of your game and to be successful. Sadly, you didn't manage to go to Rio, but I think back. I know some of the IMOCA sailors, and I won't say which one, but there was a guy I know that went overboard on a boat, and I really shook him up. And I remember him saying, you've got to clip on, you've got to clip on, you've got to clip on. And then I went sailing with him and he didn't clip on. And he kind of came back and I said, oh, you say you always clip on. Oh, well, sometimes you just got to get the job done. How do you balance that risk of something not very likely, but if it did happen, if you went overboard, it would be very, very bad. But you just think, to get the clip and to do the thing, it's going to take me 20 minutes. I could just reach and I could grab it. Do you consider these things when you do it? Or are you, like you say, an explorer, an adventurer, and you just do?
Yeah, I think it's important to know the risk. And if you have a very small doubt about there is a risk to go out, you have to clip. But sometimes you are so you trust. You are so confident that you don't do. And the risk is when you are too much confident
Right.
on you. And it's why all the accident is because it's not in the hardest condition. It's always in the easy condition. You don't you don't know the risk actually, and you do a mistake because you are so easy that you forget the risk. So it's but it's exactly like the alpinist. I think it's the same. Sometimes you clit, or sometimes it's so easy you don't there is no risk, but at the end there is a stone coming on you and it's finished. So it's always you have to remember you are in the risk zone.
Yeah.
Not safe zone, and you have to think about that. If you are with crew, sometimes it's more your colleague beside you say you are on risk, so do something. By yourself, sometimes you forget. Yeah, it's the risk because it's always urgent to go on deck. There is something happen and you have to go
Yeah, of
quickly.
course.
And it's always the balance with the time, and with the time you have to protect yourself. So it's always the same, but with the experience, and normally you are in the good in the good zone. But it could happen for sure, and we have to think about that all the time.
Have you had anything that where you, like you say, that day where it's 10 knots, flat water, it's fine? Have you had anything where I just slipped? Because, I walk down the pavement and sometimes I trip up. You walk down a boat and the boat's moving slightly. I can imagine it's very easy to be thinking there's no risk today, and then something. In your sailing, do you sometimes have those moments that remind you?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Especially at the beginning of my career, actually. During my first Rudder, for example, I had a problem with the sail in front of the pole, and I go without cleat during the night because there was a big squalls coming, and was impossible to furl it, and I go exactly in 30 seconds. I go just there to try because it was urgent with the squalls coming from behind, and after 10 minutes after that, I remember it's very bad to do that. So, and your life is your hand attached to the boat. It's only your hand, and you cannot do that. Otherwise, it's finished. It's very intense life when you do that, and I still remember that. So it's not good. It's not a good example, and. So now I am more mature, I think. I don't do that anymore.
I think you're right though when you talk about the sailing. It's a sport, but it's also an adventure. Like mountain climbing. You can't say, okay, I've had enough. We stop the boat, stop the waves. I want to get off. And you just can't do it. Have you ever had a moment which has scared you so much that you want to, I want to stop? Or do you manage to keep that feeling under control?
Actually, there is no choice. It's why it's an adventure. When you go through the ocean with your boat, the only way is to come back. So if you are in the middle of nowhere with a technical accident or a big low pressure coming on you, you have to just think about how to go through easily. It's not because there is no choice. You don't think about I stop and I come back. It's impossible, just impossible. So it's the life of your crew, of your boat, because your boat, the life of your boat and your life of you is exactly the same. We are very linked. And because there is no choice, and the only choice is to start or not the race. And after the start, there is only way. It's to finish the race. So I never think about. So I want to stop because it's completely useless to think about that. And just we have to think how to do better the next minute, the next hour with the bot. How can answer the best way for the bot or for the crew or for the competition. It's the only thing you have in your mind.
I remember talking to Chris Nicholson and talking about I always bring this up when I talk about Chris Nicholson. Sorry, Chris. Where the time where they hit the reef in 14-15. But I was interviewing him and I said to him, and then suddenly as a skipper, now you need to think about safety. Now you need to think about your other crew. And he stopped me and he said, no. As a skipper, you are always thinking about the people, the safety. You're always responsible. With your experience, when you're skippering boats with lots of people, whether it's trimarans, whether it's the VO70, how do you find that balance in your head about, okay, the risk, the everything, but now you're also responsible for other people as well? Is it, I guess it's important to pick the right people to go to sea with, people that can handle it.
Yeah, you have to be very confident with the attitude of your crew in terms of safety, and I think everybody are very solidary together.
Yeah.
And during your watch, you are looking your colleague beside you, and if there is something you don't like, just you speak about that. But it's not only the skipper. I think. Everyone protect everyone on the boat, so it's because it's a normal way for a sailor. For sure, the skipper at the end is the ultimate responsible, but everybody think to everybody, so we are very linked together to finish the race, to finish in life. And when we capsize with the big trimaran, for example, outside close to New Zealand during the Trophy Jules Verne, at the end we finish 11 people, 10 people, sorry, with the boat and waiting with the boat capsize and waiting the helicopters, and there is no skipper or not skipper. I think for sure we need to have everybody safe at the end. So we think about that all the time. The first thing, thought it's the boat, because if the boat is safe, the crew is safe. So we think about that. If at the end you start to think about the safety on one people, it's already very late. It's already close to the very, very bad point. So one time I capsized in Transat Jacques Vabre with Franck Profi, and he was helming offshore the Canary Island, and he was helming and he capsized. I was inside. And he jumped to the helm, to the bow of the boat when the boat capsized, and he hit his body. And when I capsized, I go out and I didn't find my crew because he didn't speak anymore. He cannot speak, and where is he? Where is he? Was the worst moment for me, and I was thinking about his life. So, but actually, it's the only time for me where I think about the life of my crew. Otherwise, it's even when we capsize in the 40s. For the people was okay, and I'm lucky on that. and all the time I finish with all my crew. This is for sure the first goal. But if you finish with your boat, you finish with your crew. So there is many steps before going to bad, you know. And you have to stay in the first step. So it's more the boat. You have thinking about the boat. If the boat is okay, all the rest could be nice.
So let's look to the future then, and a new campaign, the Vendée Globe, the ocean race. So obviously the two major things, apart from money, but the two major things that you need is a boat and you need the right people. So you have a couple of names attached to this new campaign. There's going to be a new boat. Just give us an idea. You know, what's this campaign going to be about? You know, what's it for? What are you trying to do this time around?
The goal, if you want to win a race, you need the best boat or the same than the best boat. This is the first goal, and we spend more time on this part than the racing part actually. And but this time is so important. It's so hard when you start the race if you know you cannot win the race because your boat is bad. Because it's so long, the race is so long. If you have a bad boat, during 12 months, you are just boring, you know. So it's important to have, just for the feeling, to know you have the chance to win. I think because this part is very exciting for me, I think now I have a very good network, a very good methodologic way, you know, because I have the chance to build 6 new boats during 25 years with trimaran, monohull, IMOCA, Ultime. And I think this point, I like it. And I think I have the good competence for that. And so it's the center of the program is to how to do the best team, the best development and research team, not only design team, but because on the design team it's for the design, but I want also to have it's like the America's Cup actually. I want to do the same than America's Cup team for the offshore race. For the problem is the budget is not the same.
Yeah.
If I can have the same budget that the America's Cup team, would be nice and maybe easier to win. It's not only the budget, and you have to find the good people. But what I say, I think with my story before, I know how to work with these people or with the designer. And for the timing, for now, for me, it's is the point is to start the design. I think it's a good time to start the design because we finished the Vendée Globe and we learn a lot about the Vendée Globe. We learn, I spoke before about how to find a good balance in terms of comfort, in terms of performance downwind, heavy wind, in performance upwind, reaching, etc. How to find the good balance in the design. And now we have a lot of returns about what happens during the Vendée Globe. So it's a good time to start, but it's not a start because for sure from 2 years ago I work with Charal, for example, on the IMOCA. So
Right.
we
Yes. Hang on, because I want to ask you specific about that. I want to ask you something specific about that. So, new campaign for the ocean race, new campaign for the Vendée Globe. You need the people, you need the boat. The process starts now for a boat, but you've got all this experience, you've been watching the fleet, and there are so many interesting threads to pull on in the fleet. We had Milizia in the last edition of the race, you had 11th Hour Racing Team, Holcim PRB, all of them very different corners of the design philosophy. But Choral, right? Choral 2. So this was an IMOCA that you were involved with, Jeremy Bayou, I believe. Now, you're going to be taking some things forward, but I need to ask you about the rudders of Choral. So, because I've been dying to ask you this, okay? My understanding of the rules is that the IMOCAs have not wanted to allow foils, T-foils, on the rudders so that you can have a level flight. They say
level,
no.
Yeah, exactly.
A level control.
Which is bad. 1 year ago, we vote about that. If we want a real flying boat, we
Yes.
need something on the back for the stability. So we cannot have for the next cycle, 4 years cycle. But I'm pretty sure in the future we will go on that. But,
So would you have
time,
voted? Would you have voted to say yes to T-foils? Did you want to have T-foils on the back?
Yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
level?
We were 30% voting yes and 70 no. So it's not enough. It's a democracy, so it's a problem.
But so okay. But what you've done on Choral, or what the
So
team have done?
we want to answer the question how to do something to stabilize little bit, because it's not enough with this kind of rudders to have a good effect using the rudder. We can use also different thing, but with the hydro appendage to stabilize this longitudinal trim. And for now, it's impossible to be flying downwind, to be flying reaching or upwind, because it's not the longitudinal balance. And if you have elevator behind, you can do that to stabilize the longitudinal foiling way. So for now, it's impossible. What we did with Charal, I'm pretty sure we can do better with the same development or the same feature. But at the end, I hope in the future we can have an elevator. Burton proved that with his boat with a piece. I don't know the price, but 5,000 euros, so not a lot. He put that on the rudder, and the boat was flying very easy.
Oh, right.
With Burton did that.
Just for fun.
Just for fun to try and to prove it's very easy to fly, completely flying like AC 75.
Yeah.
Easily with the same foil, with the same hull, just adding a piece like that. Sorry, like that on the screen. On the base of the rudder. So for me, it's not expensive at all, and it's a game changer if you add this kind of appendage.
But isn't the Southern Ocean scary enough? You know, I mean, like the thought.
But it's easier with this using the hydro stability is more comfortable.
Okay.
We use that on the trimaran. When you sail now on Ultime with the big elevator or foil, compare when I sail with the Groupama 3 without this kind of appendage. It's not the same life when you have to go through 3 or 4 meters of waves. It's very easy with
nose
now to go through, because it's very stable. It's faster, but all is I don't know in English, amortisseur in French. And it's smooth, you know, compared with if you have to use the Archimedean hull,
Yeah.
which is very hard in terms of movement. But with the appendage is smoother, and I I understand the people if they don't try like we try on the Ultime, they cannot not understand how it's better.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
even if you don't fly completely, it's already better because it's better than the stability of the hull only. You add a new stability because this appendage and this stability is smooth, and for the comfort for the skipper is a very good step forward. So it's my it's my mind, and I try to convince the people around me. But there are only 30%. And so just to come back to Charal, it's this kind of development I want to push more for sure, because I'm convinced it's nice. We can do better, and but it's not the only way to go fast. And the hull has to be also perfect with the more V shape in the front for the comfort, because it's not for the performance. The performance, the score is on the paper. It's very nice, but it's maybe too hard for the comfort. About this kind of balance, we have now we know better. And what is exciting, it's we don't know where is the truth for now, the truth. So we have to investigate more. We have to do modeling. You have to do simulator. We have to do maybe a small maquette to try different solution. And so all these studies has to be done better, even if many people think about that. So it's we have to push on that. And my goal is to try and to have a very good answer before beginning the building. So I have many things in mind, but I don't tell you all, because otherwise the competitors can do the same.
Okay. So will we see on the stern of your new boat the rudders like we saw on Shiraz? Because I want to make sure that I understand the physics correctly.
Okay.
So you have the rudders. The rudders are then towed, so to create some force, and that force is giving you a little drag but lift as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a compromise between the drag you add and the lift you get because that. Just remember, all the rudders create vertical force, because with the heel,
Right.
even if you use only one rudder, you create vertical force. So at the end, just you have to use better this vertical force with the rudder. Everybody get already, you know. So you just push little bit to use this rudder as a stabilizer.
Because so some people were thinking that this would not be legal. It would not, it was breaking the class rules.
Because they said the rudder has to be done for the
Steering.
for the control of the boat in FY.
Right.
But it's the case on Charal actually, because the first force is the first, because it's less than 45 degrees. So the first force is for the driving of the boat. But the extra force you have, and it's the same on the other boat, the extra force, you have to use it better. But it's not the first purpose of the rudder. It's the case of on Charal. It's why it's legal.
Yes, it was something. There's something exciting about it. It's something that reminds me quite a lot of America's Cup, where you do something right on the edge of the rules, and then you have to argue. And so many times with so many boats and the design, the designers, it's quite safe. You know, it says I have to have this or I have to have this. In the IMOCA world, this seemed like something out of America's Cup. Somebody saying, I looked at the rule and I found a little word, and if I interpret this word this way, it says I can do that. You must have needed to be quite brave to design it, put all the money into designing it, and then say, okay, we think that this is legal. Was anybody worried that the class would say, whoa, you can't do that?
Yeah, you have to anticipate a lot. You cannot build a boat without have exchange, sharing point of view or interpretation with the rule team
Right.
from IMOCA. So you have to speak with them to it's like a negotiation, but you have to speak. So the sentence is like that. I understand this sentence. With some argument, and what is your argument? Is it legal or not? And if it's not legal, explain to me why it's not legal. So there is one guy and there is a group to do interpretation. It's like America's Cup actually. The America's Cup there are, I don't know, but maybe 80 interpretation about the rule already writing. So it's for sure it's a part of the job when you design the boat.
I get the impression that this part of the process, the design part, the paper, the hydrodynamics, the aerodynamics, the balance, I get the impression that you find this bit really fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very fun. There are so many tools to use to improve your boat and to find a new way to sail fast and comfortable, etc. That it's so exciting for your brain, you know. It's similar exciting for me that to choose the good route when you are on the boat, and it's like a strategic playing with the wind, playing with the competitors, and it's very exciting also. But the competition start in front of your screen and on your design process against your competitors, and you have to think about what they did, why they did that, what is the result, understand the result. It's when you start to design a boat, you need to have all the boats in your paper already redesigned and tested already in the model, in the simulator, to compare what your new boat can do against them already. So the first point is to be better than all the boats existing now. And then you don't know in the same time what they are doing for the new boat also. So
Yeah.
You have to push more than the others, but you have to explore everything to have the best answer. At the end, the problem is the time, because when you decide a design, the day after, you think about other things, and you want you can improve something, but you never finish is the problem. And many times with my designer, I have to negotiate the last day to push one day after, etc., etc. At the end, they say, no, stop, we have to build the boat.
Because in any design, you change one thing, then you need to balance it with something else. It's never, you can't just say, I make the sails bigger. Okay, now you need to make the bulb.
Exactly. There is always a good point and a bad point.
Yeah.
So you have to measure what is the positive and what is the negative in the improvement. And at the end, there is a choice with a balance, and it's not you have two numbers many numbers in front of you, and you have to choose which side it's a good side. So this is very important than the sailor are involved in the team, because they know exactly what was the limitation they have when they sailed before, and it's not on the model, because on the model is always trimming exactly 100%, etc. And you know very well that what you see on the model, you don't see exactly what happens on the water, because the comfort, because
no one gets tired, no one gets hungry, no one has
exactly.
to stop.
So you need a boat with is easy to sail. Not so easy, but you need at least able to sail the boat like the model or like the simulator can do. And so you have to be very critical about what you see on the numbers. And it's why the guy like Sam Manuar, for example, is very good sailor, and he was sailor first before to become a designer. And the conversation with him is very nice, because he's always thinking about what happened in the real life, not only on the model.
It's a very interesting hypothetical question. With the technology that is allowed at the moment in, say, the America's Cup, what would happen if you said, okay, you don't need a sailor, or the sailors can sail the boat remotely from the shore? The boat would change so differently. You wouldn't need this thickness, you wouldn't need this. And of course, it would be the same for the IMOCA or for any boat. You have to create a boat that can keep someone alive, healthy, energetic. You know, all these wonderful boats, there has to be the human being at the center. And you've got to build that team. So you're designing the boat, you're also building the team, you're thinking about who you're going to have. When someone like, you know, when you come to build a team, it must be much easier to ask someone, because it's Franck Cammas asking. It's not, you know, some new person who is unproven. But how do you start? What do you look for? Do you wake up in the morning and you already, I know the people, I have my favorites? Or do you start with a blank piece of paper? What's your first steps?
You're completely right. I think it's not only the skill or the competence of the people. It's the mind and the attitude. Sometimes with too experienced people, at the end they stay on the same way and they don't want to change, because they already know very well, and it's easy for them to stay in the same page, to improve the same page. But sometimes you need a new people with a completely new culture coming with idea. Sometimes it's very bad, or it's so far away. You cannot trust them, but you have to be enough open-minded to just test it and to think about and to just listen this guy. And for me in the team, everybody can have the good idea, not only the chief. Maybe the guy in the shipyard can have better idea than the chief behind the computer. And you have to think about that. You have to speak, to work sometimes with this kind of guy, because when you work with them, maybe just paint the foil, for example. This guy explained to you what is his problem for the finishing, for example, what is his mind, and you have to explain also what we find on the computer, what we find in the modeling, and this kind of discussion we can have the best answer all the time. And I have pushed many things on my old bot, completely new if you compare with the other, because I just jump with an idea of other one in the team, and I say, it's a good idea, completely new. I want to push, and because I'm the leader, I can push it. So I helped you to push it, and I was always very curious to push something, because if the first idea is clever, And sometimes, if you don't want to push, you do only the same wheel than before. And it's like, so sometimes it's not my idea. At the end, it's a very new boat, very good idea, but it's not mine actually. It's just because I want to push everything, and I'm very open with, and I listen everybody in my team. This is the way I want to work. So I am. The first thing is to have a very good relationship with everybody in your team, to open the discussion with everybody. So it's why I love with my design team and with the team in the shipyard, for example. It's important to be open. And also a good criteria also for me is to have everybody good sailor. I think it's important, even the guy staying all the time in the office. If he was a good sailor before, it's important because he know better what is the priorities he has to think about. So I think it's the force of Team New Zealand, for example. They have a so nice and clever engineer, but this guy, 20 years ago, they were champion of laser or something like that. So you know that after that, and they are very good for that. They are very efficient because they go and they are very efficient to go directly where it's important to go when you sail. So it's a mixed. You need a new idea, so it's important to listen the guy, but you need also to think about the priorities, because you cannot and you have to be clever on that. For sure, it's not good to close all the door too early. But you have to close sometimes something, because the time is the time, and you have to deal with that.
When you're looking for potential crew members, and like you say, it's how people come together. It's not how good people are as an individual. It's how people can kind of come together and work together. Do you, how easy is it for you to spot people that you think, no, you're not going to be able to work in my team, with my philosophy. You have the wrong emotion. You have the wrong personality. No. Have you got good at spotting people very early who are just the wrong fit?
There is not a red flag for me if I don't know the guy. Maybe sometimes there is not a good match in my team, and that could be happen because what I just said before, it's not enough curious. For example, he has to be more open, and he has to listen his colleague around him. He has to work and be passionate on his job. So it's not a work because we are in the competition. It's not a work as a normal job. It's work when you come in the team. You have to think all the time how to do better, and not only do what you know. You have to do what you don't know, how to improve, and it's what we did well during the Volvo Ocean Race campaign. Every stopover, the goal was to improve at the start of the next leg. The goal is everybody has to present something to the team to improve something in the performance, and even if it's small, we have to be sure we start better than we finished the previous leg. So was our mentality when we did the race, and we finished very well with a good spirit, which is hard sometimes because it's longer to stay together. But because we have the spirit to improve, we think about the future. We don't think about the bad thing we did before. We think how to improve ourselves, and there is always a hope, and which is very important for the people, to have a hope and to have a vision. So I want to have my team member like that, and I'm very open. I'm very okay to have a debate with people around me, and I can change my mind sometimes because they have a very good argument, and it's important also for me to show them they can change my mind and in every trait of my my team, you know. So we want to work like that with the sailing generation is our goal, and also to have a different culture. I think we can find a very good point with Olympic people, for example, around me. My goal is to don't start alone. I'm pretty sure it's a winning program with these people. These people are very high level objective, and I can help them, and they can help myself also, so my project, and together we will be stronger for sure. And for our partners also, it's the goal is they come to the team, to the platform, and they are everywhere. Even if they arrive with a small budget for Olympic class, for example, they are also partner for the ocean race, even a small budget, and they can use every people in the team. They can use a different profile, girl, young people, all people like me. And yeah, I think it's very good because there are many cards in the hands to use it in our team. This is the spirit of why we did this kind of a joint venture with Olympic people.
You've got a really nice opportunity to inspire, and the way that you talk, I can see that you take that opportunity, that responsibility, very well. I know you've got I think 2 daughters. Does it work on them? Have you pulled them into sport, into sailing? Do you get the chance to take them onto the water?
Yeah, they have a chance to do, but they don't like probably enough. So they have their passion, and I think the important point is to have a passion and to be. I'm very lucky to live with this passion, and I have still at 52 years old my passion alive. So this is very important, and I push them to have the one passion, and to think about their dream, and if you push, you can live your dream. This is what I think, and there is no limit. If you want something, you can have something, and the passion is not just live, earn money. This is not a passion for me. The passion is to do something with your money, and this is why I enjoy to do that.
So, last question then. What's the thing over all your career, being involved with the America's Cup, multi-hulls, monohulls, working as performance directors, working as sailors, from young, from old? What's the achievement, the moment in your career that you enjoy reminding yourself of? Something big, a major regatta victory, something small, some little thing? What's the piece that you think of and will always make you smile?
Probably the Volvo Ocean Race. The Volvo Ocean Race, because it's so big and there are so many parts in this story, with a big team, with an international team, with international competitors around me. Was new also, was a dream when I start to dream the sailing, start to dream sailing when I was very young. I was reading the book of Eric Tabarly for the first Whitbread, and so was in my mind all the time, and winning this race with the story we are with when we break our rig during a race, etc. was not easy, but at the end we did very well story. So it's a very complete adventure for me, and I think we did a very good. It's a reference in my mind to launch a team and to be performant during 3 years. I have also a very good sponsor on that time to do that. Otherwise, we stay on shore. And in the same time, I remember when I 2 years after, when we become with my crew French champion of NACRA 17. Actually, was because was just at the last race of the week. Was very tight. Was against the world champion Billy Besson, and because it was so far away what I did before and was completely new for me, we work well and we finish 30 seconds before the finishing line. We don't know we were French champion, and we just overtake someone. And was very, very cool, and I was very exciting on this moment. So there are many things, but when it's not big news in the newspaper, but for me was important to reach this kind of result. We were very well, and it was so new for me. So. There are many actually, but I hope the best will be in the next years.
I do too, and I'm really excited. Groupama and 11-12 was such a great race to watch, and seeing you with 11th Hour Racing for the last edition, just a little part, but still a part of the team. And for the next lineup, I can't wait to see the boat. I can't wait to see the team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
just
exciting.
Just far away the others. It's a goal. In front, not on the back.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you, Franck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.